I think by the Minister of Finance. He's going to give us a short presentation of his thoughts of where we are, and then I hope that we can keep him on the line and take some questions from the panel for him. And Mr. Danyliuk, do we have you by the wonders of Skype?
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hi.
Well, unfortunately, I cannot see you. Well, looks like I cannot hear you either. Hopefully, I'm not being pranked by Vavan and Lexus. But in any way, whatever I say is true and positive. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the conference. I was planning to be earlier today in Odessa to see my friends, to see to speak with thought partners in not only in Ukraine but also internationally. But good that we have technologies now in 21st century that allows us to communicate remotely. I had to stay here today is a special day to pass pension reform today, but it looks like we've been delayed by the judiciary reform, which we went only through the half of the, or even less than half of the amendments. So that's slightly, it keeps us in, needs to be in shape, but it looks like it might not happen today. But we'll still push for its adoption in the nearest future. In terms of, also tomorrow we will present the budget. We submitted this on time, and it's a good budget that supports the Ukraine's story of of a recovering economy, recovering, growing economy, which is more important. Also, we have, I'm sure you've heard about the good news that we earlier this week we placed 3 billion Eurobond issue. That involved a lot of work on Minister of Finance side. We've been traveling for almost 2 weeks. Also was quite exhaustive, but I believe the result that we achieved, we should be all proud of. And this is a justification. This is also the proof that the reform agenda that we've been implementing for the last 3 years under the leadership of the president, governments, they brought some serious results, which are now accepted by the investors, and so that they actually supported this important transactions with their money. This is not just to give you some information on these transactions. Is that the more than half of the money is tendered for the bonds that would mature in 2019, 2020. That is very important part of transaction, which allows us to smooth out the payments profile and reduce our risks, overall risks that are taken into account by the investors, but also by the rating agencies. So that transaction should reduce our overall risk and should create the conditions for further improvement of the ratings. That would in turn allow us to, when we come to the market next time, to raise it in a more beneficial, raise the money at more beneficial terms, cheaper. But it's not only for the state, but also for the private sector. They could, when they tap the market, they will be able to raise their money cheaper and invest it in the development. In terms of the In terms of the profile, of investors profile, we had more than 350 investors participated. This is extremely important. So we have a diversified investor base, and majority of the investors are long-term investors. They believe in Ukraine. They believe in our story. What we have achieved over the last 3 years is a justification and the proof that whatever we plan going forward, we will successfully achieve.
Mr. Danyliuk, can you hear us here?
Overall, demand was in excess of 10 billion. That also shows that, yes, it's a good environment now in the market, but if we don't have good story, if we're not credible, we won't be able to be successful. So, I pretty much I would like to use this opportunity to thank everyone who took very active role in this transaction. First of all, I would like to thank my team. I would like to thank the advisors and the syndicate that help us to design this, I would say, state-of-the-art transaction and lead it to successful completion. Now, more closer to the topic of the panel, Ukraine's positioning in the global economy. I would start that it is very important to discuss it, to keep it in focus. Ukraine historically was inward-looking, and that didn't help us. I think we need to be more global. We need to be less local. I took part in New York in the conference, Concordia conference, when actually the preservation of the current liberal world order was discussed. It's seriously discussed now whether we will be able to preserve it, and whether we will be able to find the answers to the challenges that at the moment stay in the way. So actually, in this situation, Ukraine cannot just be focused on our own problems. Right? We need to see the global picture. We need to see how the global competition is developing. And we need to understand also the huge risk of the populism worldwide. And look at our populists as people who actually go against the country. And be very responsible about our own position, about own reform agenda, defending it and promoting it proactively and aggressively. Because, yes, we've been successful over the last 3 years. Yes, economy returned to growth. Yes, we returned to the markets. But we cannot be satisfied with that. It's not even at not even at midpoint of our journey. This is just a beginning, and we need to continue with reforms. I know that reforms in Ukraine, I cannot say it's become like a swearing word, but because it's being used and misused many often. We have some, I think, overusing it. But at least the audience that I'm addressing now, you understand, I hope and believe you understand the importance of real reforms. And that's what's going to change Ukraine. We already started a lot of the reforms, but they need to be implemented. They need to be implemented in order for Ukrainians to feel the results, to see the results, tangible results. It's not the case yet, and that makes our work more complicated because, we people who really understand in what's being done now, we believe and we see how it will change years, and it's very important to address this gap when yes, people receive some negative side of the reform, and they not yet receive the positive. Cannot enjoy the positive side of it. This for next 2 years it will be crucial.
Mr. Danyliuk,
and we need to fill this gap with
the
right communication, but also with more and more reforms that are target the development of our economy, but also address the social needs of our citizens. So, in terms of the focus for the future, I would I would highlight several. First of all, is the tax administration reform. I believe it's one of the most important reforms that improves the business climate, but also returns the trust of people to the state. This service was historically corrupt, and we need to turn it into being very professional, lean, and service-oriented. That should be the new face of the Ukrainian government institution. Land reform. I believe we need to do it this year, to do everything possible to adopt this reform this year. Ukraine enjoys leading position in agriculture, in some key sectors of agriculture globally. And this is without having normal market in Ukraine. That seems to be a very strange situation that needs to be addressed. So when we implement the land market, normal land market with free circulation of land, agricultural land, we will boost the development of agricultural sector and economy overall. Privatization. And next 2 years should be the 2 years when we complete the privatization in large. We made some mistakes in the past. We learned from these mistakes. So we're changing now the process for privatization, preparing companies for privatization and running the privatization process itself. So it should be now the preparation for privatization should take twice as less time, or maybe even 3-4 times less as time as now. And we should also build a very attractive, substantial pipeline of the companies and offer all of them at the same time. We cannot spend time on building the capacities of state property fund to sell such companies. We just don't have time for that. And the track record shows that all attempts in the past were failed. So we would rather
that seemed a rather abrupt
how to do it.
Farewell. No, here we go.
Yes. And the rest would be sold through the electronic auctions. And last but not least is the legal enforcement, law enforcement agencies reform. We can address many economic elements, but the law enforcement is at the core, right? We still have unreformed law enforcement infrastructure that needs to be changed. And I'm promoting the idea of creating the Financial Investigation Unit, a specialized, lean, highly professional institution that effectively would investigate the economic crimes against the state and will not harass business, as unfortunately being done now by the existing agencies. So that's what I see are the critical kind of path for moving Ukraine forward. And obviously, just to finalize, is on this path there should be no reversal of the previous successes, and we should also engage business to the maximum extent.